deux, trois. Bonjour, this is Pierre from Savoir-Faire, and here we are in Punta Gorda, Florida. It's a little noisy, I'm sorry. Here we are at the annual show for the Florida Watercolor Society, the biggest society, in where we have a present trade fair, exhibition. It's fantastic. So enjoy. So here, just for the people who don't remember, we started that line to celebrate the arts. During the pandemic, we were lobbying to make sure people understand that art is essential. So here we are, the best watercolorist. So here, come in. And who is here? So here, I'll just let you introduce yourself. You each introduce yourself so I'll pronounce it right. And make sure you speak loud. It's the echo. Get closer.
Hi, I'm Beverly Yanquin, president of the Watercolor Society this year.
All right.
Hello, I'm Shikwa.
And yeah, we'll get back to her.
Hello, Mark Mahaffey, and I'm the juror this year.
Okay. So here, let's start. Can you guys, because it's loud, I want to make sure people can hear okay. So if no one complains, we're going to proceed. Otherwise, we're going to have to hide somewhere. Okay? So no response, everybody's okay?
Nobody's complained yet.
All right, so let's go. So I'm starting here, and I'm wondering, who is that painting? Who made that painting?
I've been
Zeb, I know you told me you were shy, you are introvert, and all this. But I have two questions for you. One is you as an artist. Tell us about your painting. What is it? I'm very happy to see work which are a little more abstract, as often as you see here, you are the exception, or one of the few exceptions. So tell us about your work and how you get inspired, this genre. So here, I can hold it for you.
Okay.
Well, I really love to do abstract art because I feel like it's a journey and I never know where it's going to end. I never know what the finished piece is going to be. And I just start by putting marks on the paper, and I don't start with a plan. I don't start with a plan, I just respond to what I see on the paper. And this painting is called August Storm because I feel like all the darks and the blues in it have a very stormy...
Here, come this way, be quiet, more quiet.
It's a very stormy feel to me, so that's what this is called. I start with just trying to build value and interest, and it gets very busy at the beginning, and then I try to edit it so that it pulls it together and makes a finished painting.
All right. Okay, let's do a close-up here. Okay, so now let's come here a little further. Okay. Aha! Monsieur Marc, how are you?
Mark Mahaffey, I'm fine.
Okay.
How are
So you have a painting around here? Aha! That's what I thought. So here, would you hold it for me, please? Just be careful of that. So Marc, first of all, as far as your work, will you tell us a little bit about your work, and then we'll talk to you about during that show. So, but tell us first you as an artist. So tell us about your piece, and then I have a few questions for you.
So most of my work is conceptual, based on an initial idea, and then the idea gestates in my head and comes forth in my sketchbook to resolve all compositional issues, and then I decide what techniques would be appropriate to execute that painting. So I'm compartmentalized, I do many things. My work is very broad in scope, and technically I do what I have to do to make that statement. Here.
So now,
yeah.
let's talk about your painting. I'm sorry, I'm trying to organize. There is all the things, things have changed. We are live. There is no, here it's more quiet there. Okay, so let's go here. So, we'll go to a different place because this is what happened. We were supposed to start before the exhibition, but people couldn't wait, so we have a lot of people. So let's find a little more quiet spot.
Oh, okay. He'll get there.
Okay, so why don't we sit down for a second?
Yeah, probably need to go get sheep.
No, I'll get she in front of her painting later, because right now it's all about you. So, are you okay?
Yes, do you want both of you or just go back and
We
forth?
start with both,
Okay.
and then after I'll ask a question, and when I talk to Mark, when Mark talks, you can focus on me.
Okay.
Okay?
But maybe not too close.
Okay.
So, Mark, first of all, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming and judging this show.
My pleasure.
So, before we talk about the show, the judge, the jury, I always like to ask a question to my guests in that show. Is how did you become? Right now here you're considered a rock star. I see when I walk here, I'm really, I saw your workshop yesterday, demos. But what's your journey? How did you become such a famous artist?
I can describe it in 2 words, and I'll probably use more words than 2 words. But the 2 words that were most helpful are hard work. So I started painting at the age of 10 and never stopped. So daily painting, hardly ever putting the brush down, especially earlier in my life. Light was sort of gotten in the way, but I'm still in the studio 2 to 6 hours a day. It used to be 6 to 8 hours a day when I was a little younger. Now I'm not quite so young, so I've taken some time. And I don't work quite as hard, but I still work very hard. Yeah, still work very hard. So perseverance is the key. So hard work, perseverance, keep at it, never give up.
Okay. So how did you start? But at the beginning, you said you started at 10 and you started playing. But can you go back just a little bit?
Yeah.
Elaborate, because you make it sound so easy. Many kids started at 10 drawing. Many of them never continue.
So here's what happened.
And make sure you speak a little loud. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So there's psychological studies about how artists became artists. There are quite a few that have a flashpoint, an incident that starts them down the road to creating. And I had one of those flashpoints in the 4th grade. I was 10 years old, hanging out with a friend, and he took me to his house, and his dad was an artist. And his materials were laid out. He was a watercolor artist. Paper was laid out, a painting was in progress. His brushes were all there for me to see, and his palette was filled with these really bright colors, and I was transfixed. I stood there for a long time, it seemed, with my mouth open, looking at all of this. And of course, like most kids, I had been drawing and painting right along with most kids. But as soon as I saw that, I realized that a person could dedicate their life to this. So the very next day, I dedicated my life to it.
The very next day?
The very next day, from the age of 10. So that would be 4th grade, and for those of you that are not in the U.S., that's the age of 10. 4th grade elementary school, and I suspect that the 4th grade teacher allowed me to paint to keep me out of her hair.
So compared to other people, I asked that question. It's, a lot of people had pushback from parents, from coach, from teachers.
Unfortunately, Yeah.
So wasn't the case?
No, it wasn't the case. My parents were both in the healthcare. My dad was a dentist, and my mother was a public health nurse with a master's in public health, and they were both very supportive. My sister also very supportive of my artistic endeavors. So I just knew I was never going to stick my hand in somebody else's mouth.
Yeah.
And that's something for me. So my dad always said, if you're going to do something, do the best you can do, work hard at it. So that's what I did. And they were always supportive.
Well, you're very lucky.
Very lucky.
So now fast forward today. So I know you give a lot of workshops and you paint a lot. And can you tell us a little bit about your life today? You live in Michigan in a great art. There is a lot of art going on. So tell us a little bit about your life today, and then that would lead us to you being the judge today.
Yeah, I'm fortunate in that since I've been painting my whole life, I get asked to jury fairly often. I think that's also a component of being older. Quite a bit of experience, and my artistic interests and my interests outside of art are quite broad. And I do many things with a paintbrush as well. So all of that experience helps when I jury a show because I understand what everybody is up to. Sometime in my life, I have done that.
Aha. So, but how is the life in Michigan? Because you were telling me just a little bit so we understand where you live. You told me that someone told me that you even go in ice water or something.
Yeah,
so
ice fishing.
Ice
I
fishing.
live in northern Michigan. This morning, we're in Florida. It was 94 degrees centigrade.
Yeah.
Today in
Yeah.
Michigan this morning it was 36 degrees. So we've started the chilly season, and we can get nice days, 70 at this time of the year, or we can get snow.
Wow.
So it started. The fall has started, and I prefer the cold weather. This is very hot for me. And I'm anxious to get home. So in the winter, our winters are about 6 months. The ice, all the lakes freeze 6 inches to 20 some inches.
Oh my
In
God.
some parts of Michigan, they drive trucks on the ice.
And you go ice fishing? How does that?
We drill a hole and we fish through the hole in the ice.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I do that. Yeah, I look forward to the winter season. Yeah, and also a lot of studio painting in the winter.
Okay. All right. So now one more thing.
Okay.
And then after maybe you can help me, we're going to walk down. But one more question. Tell me a little bit about the judging today at FWS, your experience in judging. Sure. And later we're going to walk down. And, you know, I have to tell you, you just happen to have picked some of my very good friends, you know,
For the show.
for the winners, the two winners. Oh, they're all winners. But so tell me, first of all, what do you think about the show itself? And what was your experience judging that show? And then we'll talk about some of the winners. So
Yeah, so it's a very good show, broad in its scope and technically very finely done paintings, some very expressive paintings, some very creative paintings. So it's a wonderful show. Florida is the largest watercolor society in the U.S. California would be, but it's kind of broken up. And so many members, many paintings came in, and a very competitive process for selection. So the first thing I look for, of course, is a connection to the painting, to the content, to the idea within the painting. And the next thing I look for is a sound design.
yeah.
And how does the design reinforce the idea or the content of the painting? And then I look for technical excellence, of course. Almost all of the paintings are technically excellent, and for those that are more expressive and maybe not quite so refined, the artist still had something very creative to say visually. So that was the selection process. And of course the awards had all of that, plus that little extra that made me keep coming back to the work and saying something to the effect of, now why didn't I think of that?
I see. So very nice. You know, I myself have judged show as well, and I know. I'm just curious because they each have, and you don't have to reveal the process exactly because I don't know if it's, but what is, as the society giving you any guidelines, or is it totally free for you to pick without any?
Yes. The only guidelines were the number of paintings that it was suggested that I pick, and I didn't have to pick that exact number. I could go under slightly. I did go under, I believe, slightly. So the criteria up to me, the process up to me, selections up to me. It's a huge responsibility.
Wow.
Yeah, one that I don't take lightly. So hours and hours and hours were spent reviewing all of the images that were entered. Yeah, it was a difficult process, subjective. So I carry my own biases to the process. But that's okay too. We all do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. You know, that's what I say when I judge. You know, there's obviously a part of subject. You know, there's no best or worst. You know, it's very subjective. But when you have experience, there is some objective criteria. But at the end, you know. So now, more specifically, you know, particularly two, because you can't remember all of them, but hopefully you remember two of the first. We'll start with the lady that we saw earlier, Shiwa. Tell me if you remember the painting. I wanted you to ask in front of the painting, but it's very loud out there.
It's too loud to.
Yeah.
I can't hear with that much background noise.
So, do you remember the painting, and if you remember what specifically touched you in that painting?
Yeah, so I'm familiar with this artist's work. I'm familiar with a lot of the artist's work in this show. And I'm familiar with a lot of artists' work worldwide because water has become global, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. And so the award-winning painting that would be the best in the show features a very patterned, very representational figure of a woman hidden, with her face hidden with an enlarged daisy flower with daisies scattered throughout the painting. And so you search for meaning in something like that. I haven't had a chance to talk to the artist, but given that, the viewer, that would be me, I get to impose my meaning on her painting. And so it was mysterious. It was hidden. I wondered what the story was behind that. And on top of that, it was well designed. The eye flowed through the painting. She did that with the placement of the shade. And technically superb.
Oh yeah, but technically we know. Like you said, all of the painting technically, she's particularly amazing as far as, you know, her representation, the details and all that.
She still has young eyes.
Yeah.
So.
But yes, there's something beyond the technique. There's something deep for you.
It was an engaging content. The idea behind that painting grabbed my attention way before I noticed her superb.
All right, Monsieur Marc. So then we'll come in a second. Look, we have Bev waiting for us. I'll ask another question and stay a few minutes, please. So, Marc, tell me about Dean's work. You know, I just had dinner with Dean Mitchell 2 days ago. I arrived here and I see he got first place.
Yeah.
So tell me about his work.
Yeah. So Dean's work is iconic, and the content involved often describes places and things which some of us do not normally notice, and sometimes describe ideas which can be uncomfortable. And he's very, very good at bringing to the fore social concerns through visual imagery. And he's been doing this for years and years. He's a superb draftsman, excellent use of value, light and dark, and subtle use of color. And so his painting, of course, would receive one of the top awards. Plus, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I love Dean. Like I said, I love his family. He'll come tomorrow. He couldn't make it today because he was at a show in Ohio, but he'll come tomorrow.
Yeah, good.
So, let's see. I'm gonna speak with Beverly, and then after we're gonna walk the show. So I'll see you again. But before I let you go, one more question. I usually finish with that, but just in case I don't see you, can you give us a word of wisdom, or more than a word, or tell me, first of all, if you agree, and if you do agree, why would art, in our case painting, but even art in general, is essential? So is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And why is it?
It's essential for our mental health. It keeps us engaged, involved as a society. It gives us something positive in our lives. Often there's a lot of chaos, a lot of angst, especially in some people's lives. And I've noticed, since I spent a considerable amount of time teaching in the inner city, that art always brings a smile.
All right.
Always brings happiness. Always brings engagement. Always brings a more thoughtful approach to life. So absolutely necessary.
All right. Hey, Mark, thank you so much. You know, originally I would have wanted to film you painting, but the timing didn't work out. But next time, maybe someday I'll come up to Michigan, and you teach me how to ice fish.
Bring your warm jacket and your boots.
All right.
And your long johns and your hat.
All right.
And your gloves.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mark.
You're
so
welcome.
I'll see you out there. I'm gonna give the phone back to our friend here. Merci, Mark. Oh, that's your. Yeah, I lost mine a long time ago. So, we decided to come here, as you know, I thought we were going to start before the show started. People couldn't resist, wanted to come early, so that's a good problem to have. So, I'm going to. So first of all, we are very lucky to have Mark. He can work every day this week, like from 9 to 4. Yesterday, the demo at 7. When I told him to go live, he's like, oh my God, I can't speak anymore. But I think he did very well. So we are very lucky. So here, you know what? I'm going to be here next to you, so it's easier for you. So first of all, thank you again for inviting me to your show. And we saw earlier about your paintings, abstract, and I really like it. But tell me a little bit about the association. Maybe a few numbers, because people don't realize. I tried to explain that it would be much better to explain to me or to us why or how is Florida Watercolor Society considered or is the biggest society? Because in fact, it's a group of society, a federation of other society, right? So can you explain how it works? And then I'll help you, because I know after a while it's tight. So can you explain, because I'm always worried to not say it exactly right, because I have to tell you, the Florida Watercolor Society show is definitely the biggest show in the United States. You know, in the world we have Fabriano in Aquarello, but here is the biggest. So can you tell us the structure? How does it work?
Well, there are a lot of smaller watercolor societies throughout Florida which are not part of Florida Watercolor Society.
Okay.
Florida Watercolor Society itself has 976 members in it.
Okay.
So all over the state of Florida. And I personally think that we have some of the best watercolor artists in the country. And I think because a lot of people, when they retire, a lot of artists, when they retire, people move to Florida. So we're lucky to get a lot of retired artists who move here, and they continue, since they're retired, they continue working on their art. And I think that's what really makes Florida Watercolor Society one of the best in the country.
Okay, so in fact, I was explaining. Sometimes we think that it's a group of the associate, but it's all independent. All the numerous society in Florida are each independent.
Individual, yeah. Each area of Florida has its own little watercolor society, and not all of those people are members of Florida Watercolor Society.
I see.
So, you know, it's an individual thing.
But there is something special about Florida Watercolor Society, which you need to be a resident of Florida. Is that true?
Yes, you have to be a resident of Florida. Well, you can be a non-resident of Florida and join, but if you're a non-resident, you're not allowed to enter the shows.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
because we want to keep that just special for people who live in Florida and not have competition from all over the country, you know.
Okay. And you've succeeded so well. Me, I've been coming here for like 30 years or more, 25 years. So,
Well, this is our 51st anniversary or
yeah.
convention this year, so we've been around a long time.
Okay. Well, thank you. And it must be a lot of work, to, it's like herding cats to be able to herd 900 artists. Good luck with that.
You're right. Good luck with that. It was a challenge sometimes, but we did it.
Well, you have a beautiful smile. You like it. I know it's a lot of work, but you're doing very well.
Well, it was challenging, but I met so many great people, worked with so many great people on board and other artists in the state, and it was very fulfilling at the same time.
All right. Thank you, Beverly. So I think now we're going to walk by, show the show, but I wanted to get you in a little more quiet area because over there it's very noisy. So thank you. I'll see you out there. Okay, merci. Okay, can I give you the phone back and you can follow? Look at that, and who is here?
Oh, hello.
Oh my God! You guys remember Veren? Veren Pasternak? You know, she's from Florida, from the other coast, right? We had to cross all Florida to come here.
Florida just for this event.
Yes.
And tomorrow, what are you doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm having my demo at 9 o'clock. So if you are in this area, you should be there. I have a surprise for everybody. So just show up and let's see what I can do.
All right, thank you. Yeah. So I'll see you tomorrow, and I have my demo just after yours, so maybe I'll be able to sneak in. Okay, thank you for coming, and I hear your family is here.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so good luck. Okay.
Bye.
All right. So now it's gonna be noisy. So here we saw Ma, Ben, here. So now we have to go slowly. Let's do one side well. So let's go like this. Okay. I don't think I need to tell you the name because you're not going to hear it. So we're gonna move slowly here. Just look at that. You want me to do it? Or you good?
Do you want to do it?
Huh?
Do you want to do it?
If you want to do it, it's fine. You just have to.
So is this the guy that you did the thing that you watches?
I'm gonna.
You can take it.
Yeah, I'll take it, and I'll meet you down the hall, and then you can help me there. Okay?
Yeah, or rice cake.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm live on Instagram. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, somebody.
Sorry. Excuse me. I'm live. Oh, Janet. Huh? Okay. Oh my God. It's, Aha! Look at this. This is my friend Dean. first place. You see, Dean Mitchell. Up.
That's not our show.
That's okay. Is that the show here?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm gonna finish this. Wow, so many great pieces. I'm gonna do this and then get she ready. Please. All right. Hello. Sorry, I'm doing a live and I'm showing some of the painting. Ooh, look. Perfection. Right. Okay. And this is she.
I don't think so.
Ah, there is the glare. Shoot. This is best in place. Look at this watercolor. It's amazing. Where is she? Yeah, I think she's aha! So, unfortunately, there is glare. So, we don't see your painting very well, and it's very loud. So, here, why don't you go here? Yeah, there's a little less glare this way. So, bonjour, she. So, how do you pronounce your last name? Wo.
Yes.
She Wo.
Yes.
So, here, actually go in front of it.
All right.
Voilà.
Thank you.
So she, tell us about your painting. I just talked to Mark and how he really, how he picked your piece to be best of show. And of course, we legendary know about your technique. It's outstanding, and we know you about that. So of course that counts, but it was touched by the symbolic, the depth of your painting. You don't see the face, the flower, like it's a little conceptual. So can you speak to that and speak loud if you have anything to say about the conceptual part of your painting, please?
Yeah, I just use the flower to cover.
And you have to speak loud. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I use the flower, the flower to cover the face because I just wanted the painting to be a little bit mysterious. So this painting is actually one of my new series, which is inspired by the mythologies, the ancient mythologies. So I'm a nature lover, and I am fascinated by the mythologies and the fairy tales and those elves and little spirits who live in the jungles, flowers, and the trees. Right? So this painting is actually inspired by Lilith. Lilith is from Jewish mythology. She's
Can you say the name one more?
Lilith. Yeah, Lilith is from the Jewish mythology. She's Adam's first wife, and she lives in the tree. So she's actually a kind of source material of horror and fantasy. So it's all about fantasy.
Ah, all about fantasy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say about you? A message for the world? Is art good for you? Do you like art?
Yes. So I just wish this painting can bring you a little bit joy in this gloomy time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad. I remember meeting you many years ago.
Yes.
And then we knew you were blossoming already. And here we are a few years later, best it shows. So
Yay.
congratulations. Thank you. I'll catch you with you later, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So here we are. We're going to continue the show. People like...
This is my painting.
Aha! So good. So hello, you can say. I know. I'm sorry. It's very, very loud. So you have to speak very loud.
Okay.
Okay. So here, let me show the painting already. So here, go in front, please. Voila. So can you tell your name and tell us about the painting?
My name is Libet Jones, and the painting is a social statement about our teens today.
Okay,
How they
hold on,
feel
I'm
the
going to
troubles
show
they
this
face.
so they can see. Libby Jones, every 24 hours. Okay, so I'm sorry, you really have to speak very loud.
Okay, so these statistics on our teenagers are numbered up here. Like this many teens, every 24 hours attempt suicide.
Oh my God, so
Every 20
1,439 teenagers.
attempt suicide every 24 hours. Every 24 hours, 2,195 teenage girls find out they're pregnant. Every 24 hours, 3,506 teenagers run away. And every 24 hours, 2 of them are murdered.
Oh my God, yeah, that's too humbling. I don't know.
It's very
I'm
humbling.
crying and I'm like very touched with what you say. So this is very powerful what you're showing.
Yes.
So is it? I guess. I mean, it sounds. I'm going to ask you a very obvious question, but what made you show that? Why are you painting this? I sort of guess, but go ahead.
Well, fortunately for me, I do not know any teens that fall in this. But the news, every time you listen to the news, I was hearing about teenage suicide numbers and how they were going up and up. And so I looked up the statistics and I got all of the other numbers as well at the same time, and it just broke my heart. And I want to make people aware of what's happening today to our teenagers and how important it is for us to reach out, do something to help them.
So you expose. First of all, I don't know if you know me or what I do. Part of this live is to express the reason why art is essential. And I think the way you are using art to show, to expose this situation, it's a very good use of art. Thank you so much for focusing your art. Is that in line with the work you do in general? Are you
No,
in general that's a
this
unique?
This is a unique painting for me, but one that I want to continue a series on, trying to bring more attention to the needs of our children.
Okay, fantastic. It's very touching, and I'm glad you won. I mean, you want to be in the show. Congratulations. I'm glad the judge picked that. So congratulations, and continue your great work.
Thank you.
And I would say that you think art could help a little bit for that matters, right?
We should, as artists, I mean, we affect people just by our paintings, no matter what, but we have also a voice that can be heard by society, and I think we can make a difference. I want to point out the award is the Rosie Mahaffey.
Yeah.
Our judge for this show was Mark Mahaffey, and this
Yeah.
is a memorial award for his wife, Rosie. And I have known Mark over 20 years, and every time he speaks of his wife, the affection and love that he has for her has been so obvious that it really touched my heart that I received this award.
Thank you so much. And you know, I just saw she's here. I'd like to introduce you to Vered Pasternak because she is doing something, painting, you know, to reveal the challenge of the homeless in Miami. So I introduce you to her a little later, okay?
Thank you.
And she won last year, so I'll introduce you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right. You guys, I'm not talking too much because it's so loud. And there is the glare. Oh, no glare here. Ooh, Lana sees. Look at this one. Oh my God. Lana sees. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah. No, I still have this to do. All right, let's see. Ah, I recognize that young lady. Hello, bonjour, we are live. Say hello, you just come from Sarasota. All right, here with Vered. So I'll catch you later. And Vered, I met someone I'd like to introduce you in a few minutes.
Hello!
Bonjour, hello, say hello, we're on live. Woo! Okay, are you having fun here?
Oh, yeah!
Okay, all right. I have to show the painting. Hello,
How are you?
hello. So, oh wow, look at this. Woo. Looks like we're getting inside. Ah. Look at this.
Excuse me, sorry.
Alright.
Following me.
Aha, some wine. I'll take this one. Wow, gets me thirsty. All right, up. All right. Oh my God, this is the last. Yeah, you know, it's so noisy. I think I'm going to go back to the quiet and stop early. So, see you later. Ah. Hello, bonjour.
Bonjour!
It's so loud, I'm gonna stop early. But you want something to say, Karen?
Hi, it's so great that you can be here with us and join us for the Florida Watercolor Society convention. Hope you have a great time. There's amazing art. Have fun.
Okay.